Brother Nashi, how are you? Please post my story as anonymous. And I also want your listeners to help me. I'll be there in the comment section. I really enjoy this type of stories because I am also going through a lot. That is all that I do. Listen, and I listen to these stories, hoping that one will share a link to where they got help from. I am already involved in an occultic world, and I know that occultism, it is very real. I am a South African woman. I'm writing this to you because I am the loneliest person on earth. All that I do throughout the day, it is social media. That is what keeps my sanity. That is keeping me from running mad. I do live in a very big house. I live in a house with high walls, electric fences, but sometimes it feels as if I am in a maximum prison. I want to leave this rubbish of a lifestyle, but I am terrified. I'm scared because of the man that I am sleeping right next to, the man whom I will call my husband. Yes, we are legally married. My husband, he is a monster. When it comes to his occultic stuff, he really does not care who is going to get hurt. All that he wants is to make sure that he do what he has been told to do by his grandmaster. It is very painful that I go out driving a very beautiful car, but I would have just finished crying. It was in the year 2015. I was working in a clothing shop in downtown Johannesburg. That was when I met this Nigerian man. He was a businessman already from Nigeria. He is so handsome. He was so handsome back in those days. Brother Nashe, he had a smile that made me to forget about most of my problems. Even the day that we slept together, it was so amazing. He kept on saying that I was going to be his South African queen. I wish that I could reverse back and I would avoid this man altogether. This man, he used to come to the shop where I was working because I was working for an Ethiopian man. This man that I was working for, he sold clothes as well, but it was downtown close to this other taxi rank. He would come to the shop, he would bring me lunch, he would buy things, and he did not just talk to me. He told me that he wanted me to become his South African queen, and he wanted me to become the mother of his kids. I did not want to have any more kids because of what my baby daddy had done to me. My baby daddy had slept with all of my sisters, and it was so painful. He was working in the mines, so he had a stable income, he had a car, and he said that we were going to get married very soon and we will have a house through the bank. But he was a liar. He was sleeping with everyone. He would come to me and he would demand that I sleep with him first before he would have given me money so that I can buy kids' clothes that were his own. This was what he used to do each and every time when I will tell him that the kids, they want clothes. He would make me pay. I was a young girl from a small township. I wanted to be with a man that was financially stable. That was what my mom had told me, to bring a man that was financially stable into my life, and I was going to see that my life was going to change, and I was going to forget about this baby daddy of mine that was taking advantage simply because he worked in a mine and he had a stable job. I wanted this Nigerian guy, and I wanted him to show me that he could do so much better. When my mom learned that I was dating a Nigerian, my mother fought with me. She warned me. She said, "Be careful. These men, they are always selling drugs in this country." I said, "Mom, you are just being xenophobic. He does not do drugs. He does not sell drugs. He sells second-hand clothes." This man made sure that my mom loved him because he bought her a fridge, a new stove, DSTV, and my mom stopped complaining. We got married in a big ceremony. I felt as if I had won the lotto. Really, I felt like I had won the lotto, but I did not know what the devil had in store for me. I did not know that my husband, even though from the outside he looked like he was making a lot of money, but he had not yet made his money. He was investing in a South African wife so that he can get papers and he can be able to do his rituals, to fulfill his rituals. He had already joined a cult after he had seen that he had wasted, because when I met him, he had already been in South Africa for nearly 8 years and he did not achieve anything. Just that he was a man who knew how to use the little money that he had, staying in the suburbs in a nice area, drove a beautiful car, and always gave me these small amounts of money. I did not realize that this man, he was not that rich. We moved into a flat when we got married. That was when I realized that we really did not have a lot of money like I thought we had. He started a business of selling electronics as well as car parts, but this was downtown and life was very tough for us. There are many people selling the same things. Me and my husband, we were struggling. We once hired a woman, and if you see a woman that is a foreigner saying that she does not want to work anymore for you, it means that you do not pay. That is what was happening. We were struggling to pay our workers. So me and my husband, we were working together. We could not afford to employ anyone else. Me and my husband, we started to fight because the money was not there. That was when my husband came clean with me. My husband started talking about the brotherhood back in his country. He said that he had already joined a cult, but I did not understand what he was talking about. He said that if you go with me to Nigeria, we are going to come back as rich people. I thought that he was talking maybe about a brotherhood going to a church in his country, and I told him to continue praying. He said that he did not want to go to church, yet he was the person that had introduced me to a Nigerian church. He said that the church where we were going to, there were a lot of people that were too rich, and he felt as if he did not belong at that church. He said that the people there, they were laughing at him because we drove a little car that was a hatchback, and he said that he did not deserve to drive such a small car. When my son was born, that was when my husband's business started to grow. All of a sudden, my husband had money, but the day when I gave birth, my husband did not even bother come to the hospital, neither did he even pick up the phone. He did not do such a thing. Brother, one night, me and my mom, we were talking on the phone, and then my mom told me that she had a dream, and she had a dream my husband was sacrificing my son. At that time, my mom, I even told her that I was not going to pay for the subscription of the DSTV anymore, and she said, why? And I said, because you are watching too many Nigerians. How dare you say that my husband is going to sacrifice our son? I did not know that the sacrifice had started the day when I gave birth to my son. The fact that my husband did not come even to visit me when I had given birth and his phone was off, that was the first stage of his money ritual. When my son was 2 years old, that was when he told me that we had to go to Nigeria. He said that his father was sick and he wanted me to go with him so that his father can meet his grandson before he died. I was happy. I went there with my husband. I wanted to see where my husband came from. We flew to Lagos and then we drove for many hours until we arrived at this other village. There was no electricity, nothing. We stayed in that village. One night, then he took my son and he told me that he was going to see a special prophet for a blessing. I said, I am going to come with you. And he said, no, this prophet, he does not tolerate women. I said, oh, okay. He told me that the prophet, even though he was a Christian pastor, but he had a deep background as a Muslim, and when they pray, they do not mix women and men. I said, okay, it's fine. Since my husband in the village where he comes from, there are a lot of people that are Muslims, so I understood. He said that women were not allowed in that place. I was a submissive wife. I stayed in the house with my in-laws. I went to bed. I tried to call him, but his phone, it was not even working. He had told me that it was going to be a little bit hard for us to communicate because the place where he was going to, there was no network. So I was going to struggle to communicate with him. Brother, my husband, he came back the next morning. When he came back, it was around 4 a.m. and I felt that there was something that was wrong because he was shirtless and he was smelling a lot of herbs. I asked him, why was he shirtless? And he told me that he was feeling so hot, but it was not that hot when we went to Nigeria. After 2 days, his father passed away. But when his father passed away, I heard him and my in-laws, they spoke with my father-in-law to communicate not in English, for the South African woman was going to hear. But I heard my father-in-law saying, Chidi, what have you done? What have you done to my grandson? I see, because I am about to die, I see the things that you have done. Do not use your money on my funeral. Return back with your wife to where you both came from. You have brought evil upon my family. This I heard very well. I confronted my husband. He kept on crying. He would cry so loud, such that even his sisters will come into the room where we were and they would ask. He was so dramatic. He would even roll on the floor and they would ask him, and he would say that she is torturing me, she is abusing me because she is saying that I sacrificed our son. And they would get angry at me and they will say, if he had sacrificed your son, don't you think that your son by now we would have already buried him because he is with his people? We could have buried him in this village. There is no sacrifice at all. Stop stressing. Let our brother mourn over his father because he spent so much time in your country and he has been blaming himself. He said that if he was here in Nigeria, he could have maybe gotten a job and he could have taken our father to a good hospital and our father was not going to die. So stop stressing him. I even believed that I was stressing my husband, but he was just being dramatic because I knew that he had sacrificed our son, and I had heard my father-in-law talking about the evil things that he had done. We then left Nigeria, and whenever I would try to speak with him about this issue, he would say to me, you are abusing me. I just lost my father. I was joking when I told you about the brotherhood. We returned back. My son, he died in his sleep. When we woke up, I went to his room. My son, he used to come to our room 6 a.m. He would be bothering us, knocking on the door. And when I went there, I just wanted to know why was it that our son was not yet awake and he was not even in the lounge area watching TV. Then when I opened, brother, I saw blood on his pillow and I started to cry. I did not want to investigate any further because I knew that there was something that was wrong. My husband came. His reaction, like if there were police there, they would have arrested him on the spot because it was as if he was the one that had strangled my son to death. There was blood. He just went there and said, he's dead. Let us call the police. He called the police and other Nigerian men who arrived before the police had even came to our house. They quickly came. So many Nigerians came, and what I noticed, even though I was traumatized at that time, all of these Nigerians, they were driving black cars, and I did not even know who they were. They just came and they entered into the bedroom one after the other, and they returned back to the lounge. The police came. Those Nigerians, they were already leaving. When the police came, they did their investigations, and then forensic came and a post-mortem was done, and we were told that my son, he had choked himself to death because they found out that there was water that was inside of his lungs. How the water had gotten in there, no one even know. I never saw my son alive again, and we buried my son. When we buried my son, bro, that was when my husband's business started to get so busy. We opened one shop after the other, and I was making a lot of money. We did not own one shop anymore. We had many shops, and then we got a warehouse, and we buy clothes from different parts of the world, usually China and Turkey, and we sell them even to the Chinese, those ones that sell clothes that are not so original. Now we stay in a gated community, a beautiful mansion that we got through the bank. The business side, it is okay. I have been driving cars that makes people look at me when I go to shop at the mall. Everyone will be like, look at that woman, she has money. And when they see me with my Nigerian husband, they just say she is in for the money. I have been seeing my son's face, and we always pick up money in our house. What really terrifies me right now is that my husband, he does not want to share with me like a lot of details about this cult that he joined. If only he could share with me all the details about the cult so that I can know what is coming at us. As for now, he told me that we can't have a child. He will tell me when it is time for us to have a baby. If we have another child, does it mean that one day we are going to be forced to make sacrifices again? I'm so lonely, Brother Nashi. I have no friends. My husband, Chiri, he does not want me to have that connection with my family. We pretend as if we are people that pray, and whenever there is a traditional ceremony back in the province at home where I come from, my husband, he gets mad when I start to speak with my relatives. He's afraid that if I go there, he's going to get exposed if there is a sangoma that is there. And I say that it is demonic stuff. You should not call sangomas at the family house. I can't sleep. I am always thinking about my son. I once heard a sound of a toy car when I was fast asleep, and I even heard my son saying vroom vroom, and my son was saying mama mama. My son was in the passage when I heard him playing with his toy car. I got to the door, looked, and I saw nothing. As for my husband, never bothered about anything. I'm lonely. That is why I am always watching each and every confession that you post. Does not matter what day it is. I'm always on your channel, hoping that one day you will post the phone numbers of people that assist those that are staying with ritualist's husband. Your dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister. Let us try to speak with our sister in the comment section. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Let us try to speak with him in the comment section.